So now we're back to Godot docs. Getting started. What are we doing? Hold on. Yeah, getting started step by step. All right. So we just finished the introduction section right here, and now we're on to this step by step section. All right. So let's go to it. Go through it, I should say. So this series builds upon the introduction to Godot. This one right here, and will get us started with the editor and the engine. We will learn more about nodes and scenes, code our first classes with GD script, use signals to make nodes communicate with one another, and more. All right. Pardon me. So the following lessons are here to prepare us for our first 2D game. So this part right here, a step-by-step tutorial where we will code a game from scratch. By the end of it, we will have the necessary foundations to explore more features in other sections. It's also included, they also include links to pages that cover a given topic in depth where appropriate. All right. So here we are down here. We're going to start off with nodes and scenes and then go through the rest of them. Let's see. Can I just push next? Indeed. So we're not ending with that one. That's not a video's worth of content. So we're going to go on to nodes and scenes right now. So in overview, okay, hold on. In overview of Godot's key concepts, so that thing we did up here in the introduction, this one right here, we saw that a Godot game is a tree of scenes, and that each scene is a tree of nodes. Remember? In this lesson, they explain a bit more about them. We will also create our first scene. Okay. So let's talk about nodes. Nodes are the fundamental building block of our game. They are like the ingredients in a recipe. There are dozens of kinds that can display an image, play a sound, represent a camera, and much more. All right. So yeah, these are examples of nodes right here. All nodes have the following characteristics. Each one has a name. Yeah, all these have names. Editable properties. They receive callbacks to update every frame. Okay, yes. We can extend them with new properties and functions. Okay, yes. And we can add them to another node as a child. Okay. So the last characteristic is important. Together, nodes form a tree. True, we keep hearing that, which is a powerful feature to organize projects. Yes, I agree. Since different nodes have different functions, combining them produces more complex behavior. I agree. As we saw before, we can build a playable character the camera follows using character body 2D node. Using a character body 2D node, a sprite 2D node, a camera 2D node, and a collision shape 2D node. Yeah, I remember going through some stuff. Yeah, I do remember that. Did we really make this though? I don't remember. Well, whatever. Let's keep going. Scenes. So when we organize nodes in a tree, like our character, we call this construct a scene. Once saved, scenes work like new node types in the editor. Okay. Where we can add them as a child of an existing node. Okay. So it's like, I guess like this would be a scene idle, and air and run are like scenes, and then state machine's a scene with scenes inside of it, and then moves a scene with scenes inside of it. All right. I guess that's what they're saying. It doesn't matter. I mean, we'll understand soon enough. It's not rocket science. What are we doing? A single node with internal sim. Yeah, we never said that. All right. So when we organize nodes in a tree, like our character, we call this construct a scene. Once saved, scenes work like new node types in the editor. Yeah, I said this. Where we can add them as a child of an existing node. True. All right. So in that case, the instance of the scene appears as a single node with its internals hidden. Okay, so this instance of the scene, this isn't like this is going to have stuff in it somewhere, but right now this is a scene. What? with its internals hidden. What? Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we're seeing, but I guess we'll have to see it in action to know really what it's saying. That being said, scenes allow us to structure our game's code however we want. We can compose nodes to create custom and complex node types, I believe it, like a game character that runs and jumps, a life bar, a chest with which we can interact, and more. I believe it. Look, this is sounding fun. So let's go. So we've got this here, that list of nodes and whatnot, or scenes and nodes and whatnot. And then we've got the output, I guess, or something, whatever that is. Pardon me. The Godot Editor essentially is a scene editor. It has plenty of tools for editing 2D and 3D scenes, as well as user interfaces. Pardon me. A Godot project can contain as many of these scenes as we need. The engine only requires one as our application's main scene. This is the scene Godot will first load when we or a player runs the game. Whatever. When somebody runs the game. Pardon me. So on top of acting like nodes, scenes have the following characteristics. They always have one root node, like the player in our example. Yes, root node right there. We can save them to our local drive and load them later. I believe it. We can create as many instances of a scene as we'd like. We could have 5 or 10 characters in our game created from our scene. From our character scene. How about that? All right, so let's get on to creating our first scene. So we're going to create our first scene with a single node. To do so, we're going to need to create a new object first. After opening the project, we should see the empty editor. All right, so let's create a new project by opening a Godot. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. It's behind my OBS. My OBS is off. Oh, no. Okay, here we go. So I got the shortcut here. I'm double clicking it right now. Boink. And there we go, starting up. So let's create a new project. We can either do this or this, it doesn't matter. Create. I want to make an RPG. RPG. Actually, I think they're going to tell us what to do. Let's see. No, they're not. Actually, we're going to have to make it ourselves. All right, so let's go back to Godot and let's make RPG. And I'm using compatibility, the one that's desktop and mobile, because, you know, that's what I'm aiming for. Desktop and mobile compatibility, I guess. I would like, you know, at some point I'd like to do 3D, but I don't want to do that right now. 2D is good enough. So I think compatibility is the one to do for this 2D. So let's create an edit. Version control method, metadata, get, sure. Create an edit, boom. And so like we just saw, we've got this page open right here. So let's open up the website yet again. Boom. So yeah, we got it. Hold on. In an empty scene, the scene dock on the left shows several options to add a root node quickly. 2D scene, add a node 2D. 2D scene adds a node 2D node. 3D scene adds a node 3D node. And user interface adds a control node. We're talking about this stuff right here, which is the same as this stuff right here, right? What else we got? These presets are here for convenience. They're not mandatory. True. Other node lets us select any node to be the root node. In an empty scene, other node is equivalent to pressing the add child node button at the top left of the scene dock, which usually adds a new node as a child of the currently selected node. Let me show you what that means. Okay, well, no, actually, they're showing it right here. So we're going to add a single label node to our scene. It functions, its function is to draw text on the screen, right? So we're going to press the add child node button or other node to create a root node. Yeah, so all this crazy sentence right here was just saying that this button and this button do the exact same thing. Also, we're not going to use either of those because I was watching a video, and the coolest way to do it is to say Control A. And we can get this thing right here. And that's what they're going to tell us to do next. So press Control A if you feel like it. And let's come back over here. And yes, when we do that, a dialog box opens, this thing, showing the long list of available nodes. So yeah, it does what we did right here. All right. So now we're going to select the label node. We can type its name to filter down the list. All right. So we can do that right now. Let's go label over here. Label. There it is right there. Let's see what it says. I'm guaranteed it's going to say create. We should have just waited. Click on the label node to select it and click create button at the bottom of the window. True. Create. Woo! Look at that. All right. So now we've switched from 3D to 2D, and they're going to tell us that like literally right now. So a lot happens when we add a scene's first node. The scene changes to the 2D workspace because label is a 2D node type. Gotcha. The label appears selected in the top left corner of the viewport. The node appears in the scene dock on the left, and the node's properties appear in the inspector dock on the right. Gotcha. So they're just saying the node appears in the scene on the left, this thing, and then the inspector is this right here. All right. So, okay. Changing a node's properties. So the next step is to change the label's text property. We're going to change it to Hello World. We're going to head to the inspector dock on the right of the viewport, and we'll click inside the field below to text. Pardon me. We're going to, let me say this again. We're going to click inside the field below the text property and type Hello World. So they're talking about this field right here. Right? So let's do that right now. So right here, bop, we're going to say Hello World! Exclamation point. Hey! Enter. All right. Anyway, back to it. So yeah, like we saw, we did see that, right? It did change right here. We saw it. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go here and let's say we will see the text draw in the viewport as we type. What? I'm sure it did. Honestly, I'm sure it did. Look, I just literally pointed with my finger. Anyway, look here and look here at the same time. Make your eyes do that. World. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Unless you can. Anyway, there we go. So this types and this types. Woo, cool, awesome. Computers rock. So let's go here. See also, we can edit any property list in the inspector as we did with the text. For a complete reference of the inspector doc, we can see the inspector. All right. So this we've already seen is down in the manual somewhere. Right around here. Anyway, so there we go. We can move our label node in the viewport by selecting the move tool in the toolbar. Okay, so we've got this move tool right here. This is the one it's usually on select, and there's also this move one. Let's go look at it. And there's tool tips too. So it's not real dirty. So we've got, and it's got a lot of stuff in each tooltip too. Look at that. That's a lot. That's a lot of info. Control, drag, rotate. Ooh, rotate selected node around pivot. Ooh, weird. Okay. But we're using this move W. So let's press W. Let's put it no hands. W. No, that's not it. We press Alt W. No. Let's do this. All right, there. So now that we did that, let's go back here. With the label selected, we're going to click and drag anywhere in the viewport to move it to the center. With the label selected, we can click and drag in the viewport to move it to the center of the view delimited by the rectangle. Okay. So we can move it anywhere inside the rectangle. Can we move it outside of it? We can move it anywhere. Can we press Control back? We can move it anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a rectangle or not. Anyway, boom. So yeah, we can do that. Let's put it in the middle. There we go. All right, so here we go back with it. So yeah, that's what they did. Running the scene. Everything's ready to run the scene. We're going to press the play scene button in the top right of the screen, or press F6. Okay. So they're talking about this little director's thing, with the play button in it, with the play symbol. So we'll just click this one right here, right? What's this? Run specific scene, run current scene. Yeah. Okay. And then this pops up. Let's see what it says to do. A pop-up invites us to save the scene, which is required to run it. I love it when they say invites. Honestly, I really do. I think I'm going to actually steal that for life. I really like that. The pop-up invites you. Look, it invites you to do this. Look, I'm inviting you to get out of my way. I'm inviting you. All right, never mind. A pop-up invites us to save the scene, which is required to run it. We're going to click the save button in the file browser to save it as label.this, right? Label.Tucson, Tuscan. I don't know what that is. We'll figure it out later. It'll go, oh yeah, of course that's what it was. Anyway, so yeah, what we'll do is come over here and just say save. Boom, because it's already in there. It's default. All right, so this is saved, and then it pops up on the screen thusly. So let's go back and see what they say. Note, the save scene as dialogue, like other file dialogues in the editor, only allows us to save files inside the project. Okay, yeah, this is important because I figured this out the hard way. The res:// path at the top of the window represents the project's root directory and stands for resource path. So what they're talking about here is this. Instead of having like an actual file path, it's this right here. Now, why do they do that? No idea. But it is what it is, so it's not that easy to just pop in and out of files like you would in a normal Windows application. Like I said, I learned that the hard way. For more information about file paths in Godot, we can see the file system. And this is another thing inside of the manual. Somewhere, you know, file system. So wherever that is, I don't know. Maybe files and data. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Let's go back because we'll get there later, right? So the application should open in a new window and display the text "Hello World," and it does. We have that proof right here. Although we could have centered it better. Whatever. Maybe next time. All right. We're going to close the window or press F8 to quit running the scene. All right. So we'll press F8 on this one. F8. So in the middle bank of the F's, it's on the end. All right. And so that thing closed. As you see, it's not here anymore, although we didn't really see it close. You know what? We can make it. Never mind. Let's go back over here. Setting the main scene. So to run our test scene, we used the run current scene button. Yeah. This one right here. Another button next to it allows us to set and run the project's main scene. This one. It's not next to it though, but yeah. We can press F5, Command B on Mac OS to do so. All right. So yeah, F5 or F8. F5 to run it, F8 not. So a pop-up window is going to appear and invite us to select main scene. All right. So let's do that real quick. Let's press F5. Okay. And then this comes up right here. What it says, it's bigger on the other one. So let's go there. No main scene has ever been defined. Select one ? We can change it later in project settings under the application category. All right. So we could click the select button, but I guarantee you they didn't update this for when they updated this, because this is from like, this is new compared to when this was written. I guarantee you. So we could select the select button and then double click label.tcn, which will be the default, But that's why bother with that when we can just click select current, which will do the exact same thing. So what we're going to do is say select current, and you can see it ran again. All right, let's go see if it says it's going to run again. The demo should run again. Boom. Moving forward, every time we run the project, Godot will use this scene as the starting point. So yeah, this is the main scene at the moment. The editor saves the main scene's path in a project.godot file in our project's directory. While we can edit this text file directly to change project settings, we can also use the project settings window to do so. For more information, we can see this project settings stuff, which is somewhere in this huge manual. All right. In the next part, we will discuss another key concept in games and in Godot, creating instances of a scene. All right. So there's no user contributed notes to say, I don't know what they're talking about. So let's go to the next one. All right. So now we're on to creating instances, and we'll see you next time.